Welcome to practice 6 of our interactive notes. We're at the very bottom of our table of contents, so for our next one, we'll start on the next page. So we're practicing multiplying by one digit using our expanded and standard algorithm. It's on pages 53 and 54. Alright, so here we need to put our heading. I'm going to put your name, number, date, first and last in cursive. Remember to put the date that you are working on these notes, not necessarily the date I'm writing. Okay. My number is pi, and the subject is math. Now remember, when you're doing the practice, if you're on your Chromebook, you want to make sure you're trying the problem and then checking with me. So right now would be a good time to pause. You want to do these 3 problems and then play and see if your answer matches mine. So you want to pause now, try these 3, and then check with me. All right, so first we need to estimate. So we're going to take our larger factor. Is 37 close to 25? No. So I'm going to use rounding to find my compatible number. It's between 30 and 40. Halfway is 35. 37 is on this side, so it is closer to 40. And so I have 40 times 8. The placeholder moves it over a place. 8 times 4 is 32. So the estimate is 320. Since I went up from 37 to 40, that means my estimate is going to be high. So my product should be close to 320, but less than it. All right, so now this tells me to use the expanded algorithm. So I'm going to do 37 times 8. So for my expanded algorithm, I'm doing 8 groups of 7. And then I'm doing 8 groups of 3 tens or 30. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 30, I have a placeholder, moves it over a place. And then 8 times 3 is 24. Add together these partial products. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then 2. 296, is that close to 320? Yes, it's 24 away. It's pretty close. And I knew that my estimate would be high. So this does ask us, is the product reasonable? Yes, it is close to our estimate. The product is 296, and it is reasonable because it is close to the estimate of 320. So now we're going to multiply the same numbers using our standard algorithm. 37 times 8, we need to make sure there's room above for any regrouping. 8 times 7 is 56. The 6 goes in the ones place, and the 50 gets regrouped to the tens. Remember, we multiply, then we add. So 8 groups of 3 tens is 24 tens, plus 5 more. 24 plus 5 is 29 tens. So that matches. That's a good sign. Pretty certain that is the answer. The product is 296. This time it didn't ask us if it was reasonable or not. but we still want a complete sentence. When you can answer a problem in more than one way and you get the answer, you can be pretty certain that answer is correct. All right, next one. So now you want to pause again, try the next three problems, and then check with my answers. 61 is not close to 25, so I'm going to use rounding of my larger factor to estimate. 612 is between 600 and 700. Halfway is 650. 612 is going to be closer to 600. So it's going to round to 600. 600 times 9. I have 2 placeholders, moves it over 2 places. 6 times 9 is 54. 1, 2, 3, comma. Since 612 went down to 600, that means my estimate's going to be low. So it should be close to 5,400, but it will be higher than it. The estimate is 5,400. All right, so now we're going to use our expanded algorithm to find the actual product, and we're going to check with our estimate to see if it's reasonable. 612 times 9. So first we have 9 groups of 2. 9 groups of 2. Then we're going to do 9 groups of 10. And then 9 groups of 600. Nine times 2 is 18. 9 times 10, we have 1 placeholder. Moves it over 1 place, and 9 times 1 is 9. So 9 times 10 is 90. Here I have 2 placeholders, moves it over 2 places. 9 times 6 is 54. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. Now we add together these partial products. 8 plus 0 is 8. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 0, 10. We need to put the 0 and regroup. 4 plus 1 is 5, and then 5. 1, 2, 3, comma. Is 5,508 pretty close to 5,400? It's 108 away, so it is pretty close, and I knew it would be higher than my estimate, so it is reasonable. The product is 5,508, and it is reasonable because it is close to my estimate of 5,400. All right, now we're going to do the standard algorithm of the same problem. We're going to need to leave room above it for any regrouping. Nine times 2 is 18. The 8 goes in the 1's place. The 10 goes in the 10's place. We multiply first, then we add. 9 groups of 10 is 90, plus 1 more 10 is 10 tens, or 100. So 10 tens, the 0 goes here. The 1 goes up here for 100. 9 times 600, so 9 times 6 is 54 hundreds, plus 1 more 100 is 55 hundreds. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma, comma on the paper, not on the computer. Does that match? Yes, that's a very good sign. The product is 5,508. Okay. Now we're going to continue on the other side. You'll want to pause, try the problems, these next three problems, and then check with me. So first we're going to estimate. 56 is not close to 25, so I'm going to use rounding to find my compatible number. Okay, so it's between 5,000 and 6,000. Halfway is 5,500. 5,697 is closer to 6,000. So 6,000 times 3. We have 1, 2, 3 placeholders. 3 times 6 is 18. 1, 2, 3, comma. Now it went up from 5,697 to 6,000, so that means my estimate's going to be high. The actual product will be lower than 18,000. The estimate is 18,000. All right, use the expanded algorithm to find the product. So we're going to use the expanded algorithm, and then we're going to answer if it's reasonable or not. So 5,697 times 3. So first we're doing 3 groups of 7. Next we're going to do 3 groups of 9 tens, or 3 times 90. Then 3 groups of 6 hundreds. 3 times 600. And then finally 3 groups of 5,000. 3 times 5,000. So 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 90, we have a placeholder that's going to move it over a place. 3 times 9 is 27. Here we have 1, 2 placeholders. That's going to move it over 1, 2 places. 3 times 6 is 18. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. And then here, 3 times 5,000, we have 1, 2, 3 placeholders. We'll move it over 1, 2, 3 places. And 3 times 5 is 15. 1, 2, 3, comma. So here we're going to add our partial products. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. 2 plus 7 is 9 plus 0 plus 0. 2 plus 8 is 10 plus 0. We regroup. 1, 2 plus 5 is 7. And then 1. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. So I get 17,091. That is 909 away from 18,000. So it's not too far away. And I knew this would be high, so it is reasonable. The product is 17,091, and it is reasonable because it is close to my estimate of 18,000. Right, so now we're going to look at our standard algorithm for the same problem. We should get the same final product. 5,697 times 3. 3 groups of 7 is 21. The 1 goes down here. The 2 tens go in the tens place. We multiply first, then we add. 3 groups of 90, well 3 times 9 is 27 tens, plus 2 more tens is 29 tens. So the 9 goes in the tens, and then the 20 tens go in the hundreds. Because 20 tens is 200. 3 times 6 is 18 hundreds, plus 2 more hundreds is 20. So we can have 0 in the hundreds. 20 goes over here because 20 hundreds is 2,000. We multiply first, then add. 3 groups of 5 is 15,000, plus 2 more thousands is 17,000. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. So our standard algorithm matches our expanded. So the product is 17,091. All right, now our final set. So you want to practice these 3 and then check in with me. So go ahead and practice and then see if your answers match mine. All right, so to estimate, I look at 53. That's not close to 25, so I'm going to use rounding of my larger factor to find that compatible number. It's between 5,000 and 6,000. Halfway is 5,500. 5,382 is on this side, so it's closer to 5,000. 5,000 times 9. I have 1, 2, 3 places. 9 times 5 is 45. So I have 1, 2, 3, comma. Since my number went down, that means my estimate's going to be low. It should be close to 45,000, but less. It should be greater than 45,000, the actual product. The estimate is 45,000. All right, so now we're going to use our expanded algorithm. 5,382 times 9. 9 times 2, 9 groups of 2. Next we have 9 groups of 8 tens, or 9 groups of 80. Then we have 9 groups of 3 hundreds. And then finally we have 9 groups of 5,000. Nine times 2 is 18. 9 times 80, we have a placeholder that will move it over a place. 9 times 8 is 72. We have 1, 2 placeholders. We'll move it over 1, 2 places. And 9 times 3 is 27. 1, 2, 3, comma. Here we have 1, 2, 3 placeholders. 1, 2, 3 placeholders, comma. And 9 times 5 is 45. So we have our partial products all lined up. 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, you get 8. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 0 plus 0 is 3. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 0 is 14. I need to regroup. At 14. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 5 is 8. And then 4. Ones, tens, hundreds, comma. Remember, comma on the paper, not on the computer. Is 48,438 close to 45,000? It's 3,000 away. The greater these numbers get, and when we're rounding, the farther the actual product is from the estimate, but it is still relatively close, and I knew that it would be greater than 45,000. So it is reasonable. It didn't ask us though this time if it was reasonable. We just need to put the product. The product is 48,438. But you always want to check, is it reasonable? To make sure that you have done your work correctly. All right, now we're going to do our standard algorithm for the same problem, and we should get the same product. For a standard algorithm, we need room above for any regrouping. 9 times 2 is 18. The 8 goes down here. The 10 regroups to the 10. Now remember, we multiply before we add. In order of our operations. We have 9 groups of 8 is 72 tens, plus 1 more 10 is 73 tens. So 3 tens, 70 tens goes up in the hundreds because 70 tens is 700. Multiply, then add. 9 groups of 3 is 27 hundreds plus 7 more hundreds would be 34 hundreds. So the 30 hundreds is the same as 3,000. That goes up there. 9 groups of 5 is 45,000 plus 3 more thousand is 48. 1, 2, 3, comma. Our products match. So that is a good sign. The product is 48,438. All right, now that we've finished our practice, it's time for you to do some more practice on your own. Thank you for joining me.